Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Expression Pass here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the excited Eddie V. Joining me is the boss man himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig.
Hello, I am totally unprepared for this episode. Also, Ed, you sound more tired than normal. What's wrong with you?
I am trying to be energetic. My body is longing for Sunday. Let's just say that, a day off.
Okay.
Pretty much we had our truck today at work, so I had to go in early and get ready for that and work it out. So, on top of ringing and everything.
Sounds riveting.
Oh, yes. But everybody, I was gonna think about talking about the indie world that happened, the direct, but I'm going to save that for Monday, for Nintendo Pop Lock. So by the time you guys see this, we would have already did it, but that's why we're not doing this episode. We actually got some breaking news today.
What?
From Microsoft.
Oh.
And it was about Starfield and Redfall being delayed to 2023. And now I kind of want to ask you, Corey, does this really solidify that Nintendo now owns the holidays? Like, are they literally just like, if you want to play exclusives, you have to have a Nintendo Switch?
I mean, here's the thing. We haven't seen the Jeff Keighley Summer Game Fest thing yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming Gamescom's probably going to be bigger than usual because E3 is not happening this year.
Yes.
So we'll probably revisit this topic around Gamescom, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, I mean, Microsoft has Forza Motorsport maybe at this point. And there's a rumor that Hellblade, but I don't think Hellblade can carry the Xbox. No offense. I love that first game. I think it's something special. It sold really well, but it's not on the same level as something like God of War, right? God of War is going to carry PlayStation through with the third-party support, right?
Yes.
Xbox, like, I don't know. I'm kind of confused by what's happening over at Xbox and why we're not seeing any games, especially because like they have 30 studios now, right? And yeah, okay, we got Psychonauts, we got Halo, we got Forza Horizon last year. That's great, but Forza and Halo have carried the Xbox for so long to the point where it's like I guess what's one more year, but also like that's another year that PlayStation's just going to carry the mind share, which is fine. Like, I get it, right? Xbox has a different plan than PlayStation. But
yes.
But I think overall, like, the Xbox Series X is just like, it's a much better user experience than PlayStation at this point. But people are still picking PlayStation because it has games, it has known quantities. Sorry, my son's screaming in the background, but it'll stop soon. But to answer your question, like, Xbox doesn't have very much this fall. PlayStation has God of War and maybe like one other thing. And Nintendo, we already know what's coming from Nintendo.
Yeah, it just feels that I think this is the fear with Microsoft and Sony, that they're trying to acquire all of these companies but not produce anything. And I think that's the problem kind of going into the rest of the year, that you got all of these big name companies, all these developers, and why has not one game came out? I know Hellblade takes time. I know people are switching to Unreal Engine 5. That's all fine and dandy. But
I mean, next year, I get it. Like, obviously, they're trying to get these games in the pipeline. Microsoft's a huge company, right? And Sony, not necessarily a huge company, but they've got a lot going on too. Maybe 3 or 4 months ago, we talked about Microsoft has so many games announced with no timeline on these games, right? Like
Right.
Perfect Dark, State of Decay, Hellblade, Forza, and integrating the Starfield or the Bethesda stuff in there. You got Starfield, supposedly Wolfenstein 3, Redfall, Indiana Jones, right? Like all these games are in, and it's just there's no timeline. But then you look at Sony, there's no timeline for that either. The only thing that's left that they have announced is God of War. So I mean, again, we have Summer Game Fest, we have the Xbox Bethesda showcase, we have Gamescom. That's going to fill up the summer, right? But at this point, what we're looking at, right, is Nintendo is the only company with a lineup that we know of, and they're kind of scheduled out to where we kind of know where they're at, right? Pokemon November, Xenoblade July, Splatoon. There was news that came out today that Mario Rabbids is still on track for Q3
This
or
year.
Q4 of this year. Plus a lot of third-party stuff that people will probably want to play on it, like that Marvel Midnight Suns game is coming, and so like Nintendo right now kind of owns the second half of the year. Granted, there's a lot of third-party games coming out for the other consoles and Switch too, right? Like Hogwarts Legacy,
Yes.
that's a game I'm really looking forward to. Gotham Knights just dropped that big kind of play thing, which I don't know. I was excited, but that didn't really like. Whatever they showed was not the best thing I've seen from that game. That game looked better when they showed it the first time, to be honest with you. But we'll wait and see on that. But called Modern Warfare 2 is going to be huge. So, I mean, there's a lot coming from the third parties as well, and maybe like Sony and Microsoft will just ride out the fall with third parties, and we'll see what happens in the spring. Because like Sony usually doesn't release their first party stuff until February, March, April, May, right? Like
Yeah.
God of War was May, I think. Detroit was May or April or something. Horizon's always February, right? Like they've already established that cadence, and so I mean maybe Nintendo will own the fall for themselves, right? Because I mean Pokemon is going to sell anyway. But then like you have the rumors that, or not the rumors, but like the news came out that Switch's sales are starting to decline a little bit, which is expected, I guess. When you have 110 million units out there, I mean, you're not going to sell 110 more, right? I mean, that'd be crazy. Sorry, but I mean, right now Nintendo has the lineup that is blowing the other two consoles out of the water right now.
Well, I kind of feel that with Microsoft and Sony, that their next gen experience is not happening anytime soon. And I know that's kind of been one of the things for them. And I'm not trying to slide Microsoft, I'm not trying to slide Sony, but I think when you just like you get to play the best games, have the best graphics, you get to do this and that. It's good that we'll be able to get this, but the supply is not there. And I think when Switch first started out and people were kind of knocking it and saying, no, I'm not really going to do this, but it caught on. Their idea, the way that they marketed Switch, and just games coming out the woodworth that regardless of if you liked it or not, there has been something consistency there. It kind of feels like Nintendo, it kind of in a way on a happenstance, has stayed successful ever since that system released.
I think we're also seeing too, like Nintendo is putting all their energy into one console, and I think we're finally seeing how much output Nintendo can collectively put out. Because like for so long you had to have both consoles to get Nintendo's output, right? And like
yes.
Remember when we started Pal Block, it was like, oh, well, there would be like a couple games come out for Wii U, and then there would be like a 7-month gap before the next game for Wii U. But we were always talking about something on 3DS, right? So
yes.
Now we have the Switch, and we see how big Nintendo actually is in terms of games being developed and output, and uh, how strong their lineups are when you kind of merge them into one console, and it's benefiting them immensely. Which I think is all Nintendo fans really want, is just a console where they can play all their Nintendo games, right? And that's it. Plus, mixing that with the concept of the Switch in general, right? We talk about it constantly across all of our shows, where like everybody loves Nintendo handhelds. Let's just make one that plugs into the TV, right? And they did it, and it's successful. And I don't, not that we're going to talk about this because we talk about it all the time too, but I don't understand what comes after the Switch except for an iteration of the Switch. I really
which
don't.
Which is like the next topic. I don't know if you want to jump into it or you want to say that.
I mean, we can, but like, what comes after Switch? What comes after Switch? Because like that, there was that story that came out where Furukawa came out and said, we don't want another Wii U situation. It is very concerning to them that they are going to have another Wii U situation. And even Reggie said it on a podcast. I forget what podcast I was listening to, where he was on promoting his book. Very good, by the way. If you want to, you should read Reggie's book. It's very good. But the Wii U, as much as I love my Wii U, I mean, if you're watching the video version, I have my stack of Wii U games is standing taller than every other console. I love the Wii U. I will defend the Wii U forever in terms of library. But like, and again, you look at the Switch's library and you notice 90% of their output also is Switch ports or Wii U ports, and it's like, well, I told you guys, you just have a console that you want to play now. So but like, what comes after the Switch, man? Like, you can't go back to, unless you're going to make an Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5 level console with online capabilities of those consoles, with a store that functions like those consoles, with friends lists that functions like those consoles, and getting that third-party support. You're not going back to that. You can't. Nintendo would be stupid to go back to a home console and a handheld.
And I think that's why we kind of, when I was looking at this and seeing the major concern, and I think when we were talking about, because you were talking about, is it the NW2 chip or something, that rumor chip or something?
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that's why I was just like, I didn't believe it or anything, because it's just like Nintendo wants to do something that's going to be kind of innovative. What is going to be their next move? And of course, everybody's like, well, we want Switch Pro. Well, that's just more of an upgrade. But Nintendo, they want to do something different.
I think we're going to get both, actually. I think we're going to get an upgraded Switch to kind of extend the life of the console, because I think I know they probably have a ton of stuff in R&D right now, because you always have stuff in R&D.
Yeah.
But I think I truly think they don't know what they want to do next, and we're gonna get a Switch Pro because they don't know what they want to do next. And like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna make a large DS Switch thing, right? That like has two screens, right? And essentially make a Wii U on the go again. Right. Like, I mean, that's literally the only thing I can think of that is like somewhat plausible, is a giant DS where your TV is the top screen, your console is the bottom screen, and you have a box that you stream. It would literally be the reverse of the Wii U, where the console would be in the controller and you stream it to the box up to your TV instead of...
I'm kind of thinking, because even with their next console, do they want to go back to disc, like a CD disc or anything, or do they still want to stay cartridge?
I mean, I think that their audience has proven that they like the cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Nintendo fans are so... I don't want to say backwards. That's not what I'm trying to say, but like, I think Xbox and PlayStation fans, especially Xbox with the transition to Game Pass, right, they've had an easier time transitioning to the digital future where
Yes.
the Switch is such a great digital console, but Nintendo fans want that physical collection, right? And like there's
Well,
something about collecting Nintendo games that Nintendo fans love, right?
I think it's like, so over the weekend Xbox had that DRM problem, like, and people
Mm-hmm.
were like, even games that shouldn't have required that single player only, they couldn't even play the game and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I think of
Yeah, but
with
they
this,
never confirmed if the people that were complaining were playing Game Pass games or if they bought those games. They never
yeah,
confirmed that. And I know for a fact that Game Pass games, you have to be connected to the internet to play Game
yes,
Pass games.
yes,
Again, I didn't look deep enough into that, but I'm pretty sure they never confirmed if that person was playing a game they bought or a Game Pass game. And also they never confirmed if they made that console their home console or their secondary console, which on Xbox and PlayStation you have the option to make that console your quote unquote primary console.
hmm
Although I do know that Phil Spencer came out and said that's something that they're working on. It's been a long time request to be able to play single player games offline, and they're really looking into that. He did come out and say something on Twitter about it, but
because there's some games that I own on Xbox that doesn't require online or even the online check that I have been able to play.
yeah,
And if it's something that I don't got that digital copy of, but because I got the physical, I could still pop in my disc and play that game.
And I think
You know,
I think it's a company by company basis, same as like
yeah,
the Series X, the smart delivery upgrades, right? Is a company by company basis where like Microsoft is always going to support it, but the future of the other games is a company by company basis. And like enough companies have jumped on and been like, yeah, if you buy the Xbox One version, you're going to get the Xbox Series version. Ubisoft has been really good about that. Even their back catalog of games, right? Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out 2 or 3 years before the Xbox Series X came out, and
yeah.
it has a Series X version, which is very nice because I've been playing it a lot and it's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I think Nintendo, in a way, their online, their backwards ability to be online is good for this because they're never going to make an online first game, right? I just don't see Nintendo ever trying to do that, right? The only games that I could see would be Splatoon or Mario Kart at some point, but at the same time, those games have campaigns and stuff to where
people could play.
Yeah, Nintendo's so focused on the local play, and I think that's part of their charm, for better or for worse, is like we are focused on couch co-op play with Smash and Mario Kart, and I don't think Splatoon has co-op.
No,
Couch
Splatoon
co-op.
doesn't have co-op. No, because you have when you want to play with other people, everybody has to be online.
Well, I mean, even with like Mario Party, and you know what I mean, like that whole Switch Sports, 1-2 Switch, ARMS, like all these games are couch co-op first, and so Nintendo's never going to have that problem. I do know if you buy digital with Switch, though, your console has to be set to your primary console to play the games offline. And because I have multiple Switches, like my Switch Lite always has to be connected to the internet, which is the opposite of what it should be. But like, I have it set that way on purpose because I don't like if I lose my Switch Lite when I take it with me or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't want people to get into my store and change my password and then just use my account, right? I have it set.
Yeah,
I have a lot of protective also because like my kid got into my Xbox and bought some games on accident, and so like I have all these passwords and stuff protecting a lot of things as well now too, but that's another story whatsoever. But
but I know what you mean because that time that I missed Power Block, I had took my Switch with me to work, and I couldn't play my. I had took my OLED to work, and
and you didn't switch it over, did you?
I didn't switch it over. And see, didn't know that I had to switch it over because everything when I had everything connected, it was playing on my OLED.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, okay, bam. Like I knew that some of the cloud transfers was messed up or something, and I'm just like, okay, I don't mind restarting it or anything. And I
Yeah,
was
but
fine
at
with
that
that.
point, you just re-download your cloud saves.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that when I'm not connected,
Mm-hmm.
only games that I could play were physical. I
Mm-hmm.
could not play any of my digital stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if I had my old Switch, then I could play both
Mm-hmm.
of them because I was just like, oh, so I actually had to look it up to find out like, is there a way to switch everything?
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out how it was the way to do it, but I
Yeah,
didn't realize.
I mean, to do it, it's really simple. They just don't spell it out for you, right? You go into the store, you log out, and then the next console you log into is your primary, right?
Yeah.
So, which PlayStation, you have to go to their website and unregister device A to make device B your primary console, right? Which is like
Yeah.
really backwards. But on Xbox, you can just log into your console and make whatever console you're logged into your home console, but then you can't change it for like 90 days or something.
Which is fine because
Yeah.
it's just like, shoot, it
Mm-hmm.
depends on what you're playing and what you're doing with that console or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think a little bit about the physical thing. I think people have learned that if you do not, still just with Nintendo, if you do not get this game by the time it comes out, it's going to be a hard thing to find.
I
Because and oh, go ahead.
just to piggyback off that, I think when they said the Wii U and the 3DS stores were shutting down, I think that scared a lot of people too, because Nintendo obviously doesn't know how to run an online connected service, right? And so, I mean, I think the Switch is like the start of, hey, everything you buy here moving forward is going to be a part of your account. You can re-download it whenever you want. But you know, with the Wii U and the Wii shutting down and the 3DS is like, that scared a lot of people, and now a lot of people are scrambling to find these 3DS games. I'm scrambling to find the Wii U games I don't have, because I'm the only person on the planet apparently that buys Wii U games.
And then the thing about it is when you try to find it online, you look at the collectors, they have the right to jack up the price of anything they want.
Yeah, but I already have all the games that collectors are jacking the prices up, except for Devil's Third, right? Like, that's the only Wii U game that I'm like, I should have kept that game, and I didn't. I bought it for $30, and then I traded it in when I bought something for Switch. I forget. I traded a bunch of Wii U games in that I didn't want, and now Devil's Third is worth like $500 and $600. I'm like, maybe should have sat on that one.
Yeah, but I think with whatever the Nintendo's next console is, if I think they should do like what the 64 gig cartridges, because I don't know if they actually made those for Switch yet.
The cartridges,
if they're
they
out.
need to. The thing is, they need to make the cartridges as big as their third-party support will be, right? Like, I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, I don't think they're gonna have support from Bethesda anymore, for like Wolfenstein or Indiana Jones or anything. I just, unless they port like Fallout 3 or 4 over or something of that nature later down the road. I know they have a good relationship with Microsoft at this point, but like, we're not going to get like Halo or the next Elder Scrolls or Starfield on the Switch, right? But like, I think, but hold on, let me finish because I'm going somewhere with this. I promise. With I think they need to go up to like 128 gig cartridges, and I know, like, I think with the power of this upgraded Switch, upping the storage space on the cartridges, even if it is the 64 gig cartridges with like a slight download, right? Which is what Wolfenstein 2 did, right? Like, game was on the cartridge, but you had to have an extra download for something. I don't know what it was for, but you had to have an extra download. But I think you need these bigger cartridges mixed with the power of the next piece of hardware that they put out because you want to keep attracting third parties, right? Like
Yeah.
you're going to miss out on Gotham Knights. You're going to miss out on Jedi Fallen Order 2. You're going to miss out on all of EA's sports games, right? Like we're still complaining that you're getting the FIFA Legacy Edition.
We're not no more now.
I mean, well, yeah, that's a different story. But you're missing out on all these pretty big third-party games, and it's the same problem Nintendo's had since the Nintendo 64 now, is like your console's not powerful enough or isn't utilizing the hardware correctly to draw in third parties, and now you're stuck with first party games again only. And like the indie market and ports are kind of doing a good job of putting a band-aid on the situation, but at some point you're going to run out of ports to put on this thing.
Well, yes, but does Nintendo? I think that's the question: is that does Nintendo need Western support? Because even though yes, they are missing out on EA has been having problems in the past generation with a lot of their games.
Well, there's rumors that like they're gonna port some remastered Call of Duty games over to the Switch this year. Like I think Modern Warfare Remastered is coming to Switch this year. That's a rumor. You know, we're getting Hogwarts Legacy, which is a pretty big deal. Although I feel like it's going to get delayed, and it's going to be one of those games like Watch Dogs on the Wii U, where like you get it 7 or 8 months later, and nobody cares about the game anymore. And you're going to be able to get it on Xbox Series X for $15 for a sale, and it's going to be $60 on the Switch. Which, whatever, that's fine. That's what I have come to expect from Switch third-party games. If they show up on time, that's the surprise at this point.
Well, yeah, and I think that's most of. I know we have had this conversation before. I think that's what when it comes to their next console. I feel like just another hypothetical. Nintendo's gonna give third party everything that they want. I think let's say $450 for their next console. It's OLED. You know, it's almost just like the Switch, but maybe some new innovative ideas, whatever. It could do
How about a
Unreal
D-pad
Engine
on that
5.
Joy-Con? That would be an innovative idea.
D-pad on the Joy-Con. like it gives the bells and whistles to somewhat compete. Maybe it does 2K, does everything 4K, but it does enough to really showcase that hey, we made something that's really good and that's very affordable. Okay, Western third party, we gave you everything that you wanted, that you could put on the system. There's no problems, you can run it, and I feel like the same thing is going to happen, that their focus is still going to be on Xbox and PlayStation, and the Switch version is going to come down later down the line.
Here's another thing that I can see companies do, and I think some of them have already started doing. Like when Borderlands 3 came out, they ported the Handsome Collection to Switch, right? Or the Legend, I don't know what it was called. The one where they included the first 3 games, right, before Borderlands 3 came out. You know, when that kind of XCOM spinoff came out on PC, they ported XCOM 2, Civ 5, or like a lot of these games have started coming over to promote the next game on the other consoles, which like right now the Batman Arkham Return to Arkham collection is rumored for Switch. Well, what's coming out this year? A new Batman game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Like if Gotham Knights is coming out in October, I wouldn't be surprised to see that in August, right? Or July, even to fill out the summer. You know, when Tomb Raider 4 comes out.
Was it delayed last year to come out for this year?
What, Gotham Knights?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out last December. And then Suicide Squad was supposed to come out this year and it's been delayed to next. So
okay.
But I'm saying, like, when Tomb Raider 4 comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if you see some sort of Tomb Raider collection come to Switch, right? I think companies are using their older games and their older IP to... Which I wonder how that's going to work now with Embracer. Like, does Square still own the publishing rights to Tomb Raider? Does that Tomb Raider trilogy, if Embracer owns the IP now? Like, I don't know. That's a whole thing. Well, that's a different discussion for a different day. We probably should have talked about that on the Embracer episode, but that's fine. But, like, I don't mind the Switch not having major third-party support, but it does need it. like indie games aren't gonna support you forever. Granted, Nintendo's output has been astronomical since the Switch came out, right? Like we've had major games, at least I would say at least 4 major games every year since the Switch came out. Some obviously some more than others, but like, man, this console needs third parties. This console needs third party support.
The problem is that they do have third party support. It's only in Japan though, and I think that's the problem.
What do you mean it's only in Japan?
It's been Bandai Namco, Koei Tecmo.
That's not
Sega.
what I'm talking about though. Like,
right, but
I'm talking about like when
when
Dark Souls 3 came out, the Switch got Dark Souls Remastered, which we talked about sold less than 200,000 copies, which is awful. We talked about that, 2 weeks ago, something like that? Or like, or like when they announced the big Assassin's Creed Valhalla expansion, they dropped the Ezio trilogy on the Switch, which is fine, but
and that goes back to what you're saying, that they're doing these old ports of games before their new stuff come out.
Yeah, and like, I don't think that that's good enough. That is not good enough. We need, like, when Elden Ring came out. I'm not saying Elden Ring could run on the Switch, but like, it's just an example. Like, when Elden Ring came out on Xbox and PlayStation, you should have Elden Ring Switch ready to go or announced or something. And I get it. I know Elden Ring's not coming to Switch. Everybody, just calm down. I know it's not. It probably couldn't run on Switch very well. It's just an example. Or like when Tiny Tina's Wonderlands came out, have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands ready to go and at least announced for Switch, right? Like,
I think how we view major third parties different, because I think when I hear major third party, I'm thinking of Western divisions, EA, Activision, 2K.
I mean, these are Western though. Tiny Tina's is Gearbox, like,
right. But when I think of major third party, when it comes to Nintendo, my thing is just like, well, they're getting it from Japan. They're not just getting it from the West. And from what you're saying, and this may be my bad interpretation, is that whatever company is putting out a current game for Xbox and PlayStation, there should be some kind of announcement or some version coming to Nintendo, or even a game similar coming to Nintendo that is brand new.
Even if it's a cloud version. I hate cloud versions of games, but like, we got Guardians of the Galaxy day and date. It was a cloud version. It wasn't great, but at least they had the foresight to say, hey, look, we need to at least try to get this game onto Switch. Somebody will buy this, right?
And I think that's what a lot of people just want. It's just that fair treatment, that fair release. Because, like I said, Nintendo could give these companies the bell and whistles, and they have said that we had talked to developers and put in stuff that they wanted. And this is the things that we're getting from them. This is the treatment that we're getting from them.
I mean, look at MLB The Show. Look how great it's doing on the Switch, because people want baseball on the go.
Yeah,
that's so cool. And that game is like, that's a big game. It's got online play. It's got like a lot of computation in the background in terms of like league management and statistics and trade stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, it's a full game. Like, it's the full version of the game. And I would just like to see that effort go into other games. And I honestly think that probably 75% of the reason that people don't try harder for Switch is because it is just lacking the power. It is just lacking the power. And like, we always talk about how big of a miracle it is that The Witcher runs on it, or Wolfenstein and Doom run on the Switch, right? And there's something by my foot that it's a slipper. I'm like, what is hovering around my foot? I'm concerned. And it's just, every time a game gets announced and it's not coming to Switch, part of me gets sad. And like, I understand that it's not, but as a Nintendo fan and someone who like doesn't have a lot of TV time, right? And I mean, it's like the games that don't come to Switch, this device right here, the backbone controller that I can hook onto my phone is 80% of the reason why I bought this is because I don't have a lot of TV time and I would like to play these third-party games in handheld mode, and they're not available on Switch, so I have to remote play or cloud play or whatever.
I think we may actually have a discussion about this on the future expansion pass. I wonder if big name titles um, that don't release on Switch end up being backlog games. You know, that people be like, yeah, I'm glad we got this game on this console, this platform, and then they buy it and they be like, yeah, I'm not really playing it. You know, I installed it or I just put it to the side because I'm playing this on this console. Where it feels like if there and don't say I'm not saying that Switch doesn't have backlogs because any console or any platform of a video game could get a backlog just from the newest thing that is brought.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, do some people, because they were just like for example The Witcher 3, you know, people were just like, more people have beaten The Witcher 3 on Switch than I think on any other platform.
No, I doubt that. But I mean that's not true. But I mean, I do know a lot of people who were playing on PC and they got distracted by other things, and that when they got the Switch version, and the fact that the Switch version ended up being cross save with the PC version was another great move, I think, for them. Like, I feel like a lot of people got a lot more out of The Witcher when they found out that they could do that, and you know, a lot of people played more of the Witcher than originally because obviously they could take it with them or play it how they see fit, right? And so, I mean, I played a lot of The Witcher on the Switch. I didn't beat it, but like I played a lot of it, and it's like it kind of scratched that Zelda itch I was kind of itching for. I got to a point where I forgot what I was doing, and then I tried to go in there, and I got annihilated by some boss that I probably wasn't ready for, and then I didn't go do other things. But where was I going with this? Oh, like, okay, so companies that like I really appreciate trying with the Switch recently, obviously Ubisoft is doing Mario Rabbids 2, which technically like a second party situation, but like WB put Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch. They're putting Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch. Blizzard is putting Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 on the Switch. They've already announced those, right? Like those are going to be big games, right? Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, regardless of what you think of Blizzard or people kind of trash talking Overwatch 2 and how it's being handled, that's a small minority of people on the internet, and Overwatch 2 is going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and if you're putting that out on the Switch, I think people are really going to appreciate that. Yeah. Granted, I played Overwatch 1 on Switch, and it was like going from the Xbox One version of Overwatch to the Switch version was like, oh my gosh, this is like interesting to say the least. But it was functional. It was 30 frames instead of 60, but it was totally playable. It had it was cross-play. I know they're kind of doing that account. They're working on that account merging thing where all the skins you unlock on, I think right now it's PC, Xbox, and Switch will merge as one, because, you know, PlayStation has like a weird cross-play, cross-buy rule thing going on, and people don't really want to mess with that. But, you know, I think that's really cool. I think Diablo 4 will be cross-save and cross-play between versions. I think I've heard that, which is really cool. And, I mean, Diablo 3 was like a huge success for the Switch, right? That game was massive on the Switch.
I think that, because definitely with the OLED, I don't know if they'll do like Joy-Cons or a special edition. I think if just looking at Diablo 4 on an OLED, I think that's going to get a lot of people more to buy not only the game, but probably the console too, if it looks good and runs well. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely companies out there who are supporting the Switch, and I love that they are. But there's also a couple games that didn't come to the Switch that I'm scratching my head, like Tales of Arise, like totally not like a graphical bombshell of a game, right? It's fine, like it looks fine. It's not like a amazing looking game or anything, right? Like
Hmm.
it's not like pushing the boundaries of graphics, but I was shocked that that game didn't come to Switch. Or
Dude, there was a story about like Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise should have came to Switch. They would have sold better.
I mean, I'm surprised Scarlet Nexus didn't come either. Uh, but I mean, it is what it is at this point, I guess. So,
Hmm.
uh, I mean, we're getting Alan Wake remastered this fall, I guess, which is another port that people are excited for.
I wonder if that's going to be cartridge or cloud or
Alan Wake remastered should definitely be at least a digital download. I'm sorry, that game is old.
that is true. Um, shoot, I had to order. So I got it for Xbox Series X. I literally had to order the Xbox version because they don't carry it in stores. And I mean, the only physical version they was carrying was the PlayStation 5 version. I'm like, dang, not even PS4. Like the way
Hmm.
they did that remaster, just releasing it was very weird.
Well, I mean, a lot of companies are short printing Xbox versions anyway because of just Xbox really pushing their digital ecosystem, and
Mm.
uh, I think within the next 3 or 4 years you're going to see a lot of. I think it's gonna be really hard to find Xbox physical games if you don't buy them right when they come out or you don't pre-order them.
I can see that, yeah. Because a lot of just going in Best Buy, a
Mhm.
lot of their games it's like it's empty and they gotta spread a lot of stuff out.
It's the
I'm just like,
smallest.
this is weird.
It's the smallest section of the store by far. The Xbox version or the
Hmm.
Xbox section of Best Buy is definitely the smallest version section of the store. So I don't know. I mean, Xbox is like I have the only physical games I have for Xbox are like Gears and Halo, and I have Jedi Fallen Order, which I really like. So I bought it physically. I'll probably if I see Guardians of the Galaxy for like $10 physically, I will probably get that physically just to have it.
Yeah, I got Guardians I think for
Yeah.
20 or 25 for Black Friday.
My new thing with physical copies is like if I'll buy the game digitally and if I really love it, I'll buy it physically when it's cheap.
Hmm.
If I want to add it, right? For Xbox and PlayStation, I should say, not Switch. Switch is like this. I just don't know how to explain it. I want to have Zelda games physically. I want to have Fire Emblem games physically. I want to have
Hmm.
Xenoblade games physically, and like I will buy certain Mario games physically. But like I don't know. It again. It's at that. It, I'm at that weird spot where like the Switch is a great console to have digital games, and I love it. It's so convenient. It's so nice to have, you know, 15, 20 games downloaded on your SD card to take with you wherever. It's so nice. But there's something about collecting Nintendo physical games that is just like, it's just a Nintendo fan thing. And I don't know. You're muted, Ed. Ed's muted, everybody. Let's all make
Yeah.
fun of him. Ha ha ha.
Boo.
Just kidding. I was just
Uh,
filling the air, the dead air. It's
uh,
fine.
I think definitely with me with physical, it's just that there's just that old school, old soul nature, but there's
Hmm.
just something reliable and something valuable of having Nintendo Switch cartridges.
Valuable is correct.
Even even kind of because I got all my Xbox One games and uh they some of the games that I buy is still it has the Xbox One logo, but some of them also say Series X. So I kind of still do that, and definitely with my PlayStation 4, and whenever I get a PlayStation 5, I'm still gonna go out and do uh physical because definitely there's something. I guess it's just like kind of the licensing thing or something. I
Mm-hmm.
think something is more reliable to me with physical than it
Mm-hmm.
is with digital. And plus it gets me kind of out the house in a
Yeah.
sense. Because sometimes I'll go to like Best Buy, I'll pick up my game, and then be like, you know what? Let me cruise around in the store. I might find something, and bam, oh, they got No More Heroes 1 and 2 for $10.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that online no sale. Snag it up. You know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I going back to like kind of what we were talking about originally with like the
Mm,
Switch's next console and what I hope they do to I want them to be. I think the Switch is the perfect concept for Nintendo. I
yes.
think what they should do, honestly, is the iPad situation where they just iterate on it every 2 or 3 years
Hmm.
and it's a little bit more powerful. It still runs the same games and everything, but if you have this version, it runs them better.
Hmm.
Or you say, okay, well, you start maybe numbering your switches and say, hey, okay, well, launch Switch and this version of the Switch Lite are no longer supported with whatever, right? And I know that sucks for a lot of people who invested on launch day and still have their launch day switches. Uh, or what you do is you create a successor to the Switch, but it has to be backwards compatible with the Switch. It has to
Oh
be.
yeah.
It with if you're like Nintendo's pushing their online store, even though it kind of sucks, right? Because you get triple the gold coins or whatever. Uh, you get a lot of like with Nintendo Switch Online, you get a lot of perks and stuff, right? They're really pushing the digital side to the point where like you don't want another Wii U and 3DS situation. If there's another Wii U or 3DS situation, you are screwed. Nintendo is screwed,
Yeah.
you know? And like, yeah, a lot of people just kind of write off the Wii U and the 3DS because A, the Wii U wasn't popular, and B, like the 3DS's online store it's like what 2011, right?
Hmm.
And so like okay, you write it off because it's 10 years old and Nintendo clearly didn't know what they were doing online anyway, but like 2017 online stores are established. The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One stores are established. They work. Xbox is, 2019 they come out and say, "Hey, everything you purchase on this platform will be forwards compatible. Backwards compatibility is a huge thing. Everything you purchase in the Microsoft ecosystem will just work on your next box, right?
Hmm.
Great feature. Nintendo needs to do that. If they don't have backwards compatibility and you can't access the Switch's digital store anymore, they're just like, I mean,
And I kind of wonder if they do have, and I know we were talking about the old guards and the young, and all this young team
mm-hmm,
for Nintendo and everything. I wonder if they do have a young team for the R&D. I mean, still with some veterans and stuff, and they're brainstorming. They're trying out,
mm-hmm,
um, like what parts can we buy? What can we design? Can we mod this? Can we get this engine running? What kind of funny games that we could like? I feel like they're like really brainstorming on what is the future that us as Nintendo want to push for our next console.
mm-hmm.
You know, we seen the success. We are hearing people how they want backwards compatibility. And I think as long as they don't change the media,
Mm-hmm.
like if they don't go back to CDs or something, if they're still able to use that cartridge slot and that would fit Switch games and whatever their new thing is. And I agree, the 128 gig, um if that works, dude, yes.
I mean,
And
even if
then
they have to charge $70 for games instead of 60, like the rest of the consoles, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
I feel like that is an easy jump to make now that everybody else is doing it already. Yeah,
Yes.
kind of sucks, but everybody else is already on the $70 train, right? And if you want third party support, if you like, you have to make, if you're going to stick with the cartridges, you have to make them bigger. You have to make your console more
Mm-hmm.
powerful. Those are the
Yes.
two must do's for Nintendo's next console. I don't
And I
care if
think
it's a
they're trying
Switch
to.
Pro. I don't care if it's a Switch 2. I don't care. Whatever it is. Oh, 3, it's got to be backwards compatible with physical and digital sales.
Yes.
Like your digital library has to move forward with you. Those are the
And then
three
I think
absolute things Nintendo needs to do.
I really think that with just a way with Nintendo Online, having the cloud and even expansion pass and having all of that, that has to be implemented day one. You have
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're marketing your next console, yeah, you can show off the games and what it does. But when you have that in the direct, when you have that versus meeting that you want to show everybody, you need to show that hey, all your games that you bought digitally, for your system will cross over because when people see that, they'll double dip.
Uh-huh.
If they really want a game that they own physically, they would be like, okay, so okay, I can't play my physical version of Super Mario 3D World, but
But you
if
should.
I
That's the thing. It has to be a DS Lite situation. A
kind of
DS,
situation,
like, yeah, it has to have a slot for Switch games. Like, it's got to be a Game Boy Advance on the DS
hmm
situation. It has to be. Like, I'm sorry, it really has to be that way.
they just got too big of a library and all of those sales for
Or
that system.
either that, or whatever cartridges you use next need to be the same form factor as the Switches, right? I
Yes,
mean, you look at the you look at the family of Xbox or PlayStation, right? Like they all use discs, right?
hmm
And I guess Xbox would be a better example because they use the discs for their backwards compatibility. But like they went from DVD to Blu-ray to Ultra 4K discs, right? Like they went through that evolution, but they all still work in your Xbox Series X pending, their licensing agreements and whatever, right?
yeah,
They just work when you stick it in. PlayStation, not as easy, right? But it's still the same concept, right? Where like you can stick a PlayStation 4 disc in your PlayStation 5 and it just works, right? Because a I mean they made it work that way, but it's just like it's a disc, right? It's not like you went from a disc to like a brick hard drive that you have to slide in like a VHS tape, right? It's a
yes,
disc. And so I think Nintendo needs to consider that, and if you're going to use cartridges, it needs to be the same or similar, right? I mean, you could play a DS game in a 3DS even though the cartridges were slightly different shapes, but they still fit in the same slot. So, it's got to be that way.
yeah. And I think they're trying to make sure that they figure that all out. Make
Hmm.
sure that I know in our chat they was talking about where the next Nintendo console had like two cartridge slots.
I think that's I I saw that. I look, if you need to have two slots, it's like I mean, that's I don't.
I think if I agree with you, if they could make a cartridge slot that could fit Switch games,
Hmm.
but also fit whatever the next media, not next media, the next design of that cartridge and stuff, I'll be fine with that.
Hmm.
I'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool. You guys were able to do because
Hmm.
I'm like, I think doing what they want to do is going to be probably maybe somewhat the easy thing. It's actually designing that console on how do we fit all of these components? How do we
I mean, they
make
did it with the
sure?
Switch. I mean, they did it with the Switch, and they did it with the DS. Like the DS
Yeah.
is still slim. I mean, the 3DS is like, especially the new 2DS is like
Mhm.
super slim and super sleek. Like it's a nicely designed console, and it still plays DS
Yes.
games, right? So even the DS Lite is like a super slim console, and it still fits GBA cartridges. So
I love the DS Lite.
yeah, I do. I okay. I did too until I opened mine the other day and realized how small those screens are. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is awful. How do we ever do this? How do we ever play on those things?
I think because we was young.
Yeah, and then I mean, even all the way back to the Game Boy, you look how small that screen is compared to the
Yes.
brick that is the Game Boy. You're like, oh my gosh, this is insane how small this screen is. Uh, but
Well, Corey, I think do we have any more? Uh
no, but
Anything else?
we do need to shout out our patrons because we did not do that at the
Yes.
beginning of the show. So I apologize for not doing that at the beginning of the show, but I do want to thank our patrons. Remember, if you subscribe to us on Patreon for $1, you get this show 1 week early, as well as the Boss Rush podcast 1 week early, and Standard Definition and After Dark 2 weeks early. But if you are a $5 subscriber on our Patreon, you get perks like being shouted out on the show as a Patreon producer. So I want to shout out our Patreon producers, if I can click on the right button here. Thank you guys for subscribing at the $5 tier. Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adriel Munger, and my wife, Sana Dirrig. I want to thank you guys for subscribing. It means a lot that, I also want to thank our $1 tier subscribers and our listeners who listen for free. It means a lot that so many of you listen to us every week, regardless of what show you're listening to. And yeah, it means a lot.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so yeah,
Well,
thank you.
Corey, where
Uh,
can people
well,
find?
hold on.
Oh,
I want to say one more thing
go ahead.
before we get out of here. I really I've been listening to a lot of Reggie lately, and I've been trying to pay attention to what's happening on Nintendo's business end, which, there's some things going around that aren't great, but there's also things going around that, Nintendo is really paying attention to their failures right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Virtual Boy, the GameCube, which they consider a failure, and the Wii U, right? They're really paying attention to those failures, and I appreciate that they are paying attention to that. It means that they are looking to succeed and build a better console after the Switch, which I'm very excited to see what is next.
Yes.
With that said, the Switch is in a really awkward spot because to me, it still feels like a fresh console in a way,
Mm-hmm.
right? I haven't felt like, oh my gosh, the Switch is in its 6th year. Holy crap. Like I've never thought that yet. 5th year, I guess. But when you really sit down and analyze what's coming out for the Switch and what's not coming, you're like, huh, this console is getting old. And when you put it next to an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5, you're like, man, this console is really old, And because obviously Nintendo usually hardware-wise is like a generation behind in terms of power.
Mm-hmm.
And, I love the idea of the Switch. I love the concept of the Switch. I think Nintendo games run almost perfect on it most of the time. I think it's a great place for indies. I think it's a great place for like third-party single A experiments. Like I would say like something like Darksiders or stuff like that. I think it's a great place for older games to find new life, like BioShock and Borderlands and
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's Creed, right? Those types of games can find new life on Saints Row, Red Faction, these kind of games. I'm really wanting the Switch to find, or Nintendo to find new life with new games, right? I would love to play Gotham Knights on the Switch. I would, I would love to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey on the Switch. I would love to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla on the Switch. But it's not powerful enough, and it's remarkable that the Witcher runs on it. And so my final thoughts are, whatever's next for Nintendo, keep the concept, bring the power. Keep the concept, bring the power. Mobile devices these days are more than capable, right? That with like the chips, where I work, we work with a lot of Apple products, and like what Apple can do in a mobile device these days is hilariously powerful. Like these devices are more like our phones and our iPads and stuff are more powerful than the Xbox One was when it launched, right? Like it's crazy. So
and I think that's through technology advancing. Technology is consistently advancing.
I agree. I just like, I know that Intel and AMD and Apple are all kind of in a bidding war for these specific chips right now. I learned that from the podcast that I work on at work. But it's just fascinating that I hope whatever NVIDIA is doing and Nintendo can work with NVIDIA to get this chip, because this chip that is rumored to be in the success, whatever the next piece of hardware they put out.
Yeah.
This chip can do really interesting and powerful things. And I hope that Nintendo utilizes that to draw in these third parties. So,
which will probably lead into a discussion that we'll have next time. Is it time for Nintendo to break their price point? Is it time for them to be like, hey, we try to get stuff to make it affordable, which also leads to profits. But now it's time for us to kind of, maybe we do have to lose $15 or $20 if it costs us to bring the power and stuff.
What was the last console Nintendo lost money on? Wasn't it Nintendo 64?
No, I think the last one was Virtual Boy.
Well, I mean
it lost a lot of.
Let's not count the Virtual Boy. I mean, we knew that thing was a failure.
If we're talking about hardware,
I'm talking about what was the last console Nintendo produced that they lost money per unit.
Nah.
Are you sure?
They made money on the N64. They made money on GameCube. They made money on Wii. They made money on Wii U. Every system that they had put out, because it was more affordable, they always had stayed in the black, or they always made some kind of money off of it. That's why when Xbox, I think the original Xbox, they lost money. I think Microsoft lost money on that one. I think that's why Microsoft and Sony, at one point with their systems, that they sold a lot, but they weren't making their money back, and it took years for them to start making their money back because those chips started getting cheaper. And once that happened, they started making revenue. But because Nintendo was using cheaper hardware, and selling at a price where they could make money, I think even with the N64, they were making a lot. They were making money.
I knew that, but according to this report from BBC, Nintendo confirmed that they will lose money on every sale of a Wii U console at launch. So they took a loss on the Wii U,
which is weird because they were making money off the Wii U.
I mean, clearly they weren't, because it said they didn't turn a profit until late 2013 on the console, and it came out in 2012.
That's very weird, because like Sony and Microsoft was losing tons of money with their sales on their systems, and Nintendo, I think, maybe you are right. I would have to check. I would have to check it, because I'm just like, I feel like they said they did make a profit off the Wii U.
I mean,
when that first came out.
Eventually they did, but that first year it looks like they did not. But also they were making up a ton of money on the 3DS, which cost them nothing to make.
And plus they had two systems. They had the white one and the black one when they released. So maybe that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, that's probably a topic we can talk about another day. But also, the Switch made money from the start.
Yes.
Which it should have, because that... I mean, I don't mind paying that amount of money for a console, right? Like $300 for the Switch is like relatively cheap compared to buying an Xbox or a PlayStation. But $300 for that machine is pretty pricey, actually, at the time. And $350 for the OLED is kind of like that's pushing where they can sell this console. I mean, obviously it's still selling, right? I mean, obviously that's a choice that they made and people are accepting it. But like, you can buy an Xbox Series S for $270 right now on Woot, which is Amazon's kind of discount store, I guess. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, if you're gonna buy a next gen Xbox, I don't know if I would recommend a Series S, but that's my thing. Series X, though, great console. Love that box.
You just need official games for it, more games for it.
No,
first party.
I like the games I play on it. I play a lot of Assassin's Creed. I play a lot of Outriders. I play a lot of Destiny. To be fair, I did buy an Xbox Series X strictly to play Destiny at 60 frames a second and not 30. But
which is fine and good and dandy. But all those games you mentioned was third party.
I'm totally aware that I like my Xbox for reasons that aren't Xbox related. Okay. Hold on, not true. I think they have a superior controller.
Definitely agree with that. I love the Series X controller. I really do.
I think Xbox makes the best controller in terms of feeling. I haven't used a DualSense. I know people swear by the haptic feedback stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the double sticks at the bottom of the controller. I need the offset sticks. Great change for the Switch, by the way, from both sticks being on top from the Wii U to having offset sticks like an Xbox controller. By the way, did you see that like kind of like third-party official Pro Switch controller that's straight up an Xbox controller?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, there's a huge article on Nintendo Life about it. You should look it up. It's hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. It's I think I'm just gonna... Where'd it go? It's somewhere. I don't know. There's been so many stories on Nintendo Life lately that it's like...
Dude, literally, when you posted the Alan Wake thing, was it the NVIDIA leak or was it... it was the Taiwan ratings board leak that happened with it.
I don't know. I saw it on Twitter, so I just posted it because I figured somebody should probably write about it. But that's just me.
I really wonder why they did it so late for.
Because it's a Switch version of a third-party game, which is what this whole episode was about. So, but everybody, that's gonna be it for Expansion Pass. Corey, where can people find you? You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast here on Nintendo Power Block and Expansion Pass, Standard Definition, and much more.
Yes, you guys can find me at That Retro Code on Twitter and on Instagram. You can check me hosting Nintendo Power Block on Mondays. You can also check out Talk to Walk and other podcasts that we do here at Boss Rush and on our YouTube page. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.